This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Jack Threads. Coming up, what could go wrong with the movie about fighting robots? We check out Real Steel.
Today in movies, we're talking about Real Steel.
Hey-o.
Hey, yo. So Real Steel is set in the near future where robot boxing is the sport.
Roboxing.
That everyone is watching. Hugh Jackman plays an old boxer. It's basically a Rocky underdog father-son story where Hugh Jackman is robot boxing counterpart, and he has a son who loves this sport. And I believe Evangeline Lilly from Lost is in it.
Wait, sounds like you didn't see this movie,
I didn't see the movie.
Nailed. Real Steel.
Did not see Real Steel. Very excited to. Extremely excited to, actually, as I feel that it scratches a lot of the itches that I have.
So
You have a lot of itches.
So I'm very curious, guys.
Yeah.
Is it as awesome as I want it to be? Alexander Albrecht.
Yes, good pronunciation.
Looks like it's a mashup of the kind of story that a Rocky movie would be,
Yeah.
Karate Kid,
but
really.
in the vein of an
Karate Kid.
My favorite movie, in the vein of an Amblin movie.
Yeah, so
I should say it comes from Sean Levy, director Sean Levy, who has only really been around, only really been doing family fare. He did the Pink Panther movies, Night of the Museum.
He did a family fair once.
Cheaper by the Dozen. Those kinds of flicks.
Yeah.
Does this cross over to a guy who wouldn't like just a family movie?
Yeah. So interesting. When this movie was sort of announced, they came out with a trailer. A lot of people, because it came at this time where we're seeing a movie based on the board game Battleship.
Oh, you're
We're
saying
seeing
this
a
is
lot of
this is
people.
not the
It is
Rock'em
Rock'em
Sock'em.
It is not.
There's
No,
another
it's not.
Rock'em Sock'em robot
Really?
movie, potentially.
Yes. Yeah.
believe so.
So a lot of people were.
I thought it was.
I did, as did I.
Also, his last name is Arkham. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Go back.
As did I think a number of us. We thought it was sort of the Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie, which it unfortunately puts it in a category that it already has a lot to get over because of just sort of how one would feel about a movie made out of Hungry Hungry Hippos. You know what I mean? Like a thing that has nothing. Yeah, it's called Congo.
Damn it.
Not good. Anyway, you remember the scene I'm talking about from Congo.
They play Hungry Hungry.
Yeah, I was not. I mean, the funny thing is, it's one of those movies that you see trailers for and you go, oh, interesting. I kind of know this movie. I kind of get this movie. It's a family movie. It's not really a movie for me.
Okay.
And though it is better than that, I was sort of disappointed at how much, how
By the numbers?
yeah,
Is that what
how
you're looking for?
really not much more than that it ended up being.
It is of the genre, it doesn't supersede the genre.
Definitely doesn't supersede the genre. And I was really sort of disappointed because I walked in and everybody was sort of abuzz in the screening of, well, they're doing press screenings because it's so bad, it's so good, it's so good. There was a lot of free candy. But you totally missed it. It was the most amazing moment of my life.
Open bar of candy.
Yeah, and it was on the DreamWorks lot. Like, it was like there were jaws coming out of things, and it was just the best movie going experience ever. But a lot of people in
That didn't sway our
didn't
opinions.
sway us, really.
Clearly.
Well, but no, but a lot of people in the theater were saying that, you know, this movie is getting a lot of press, positive press because it transcends. And so I was like, instantly went from, oh, this could be an interesting movie to, oh, this is going to be the most amazing movie I've ever seen. I'm so excited. And though it is a good movie and it is better than the premise sets up, better than the trailer sort of shows, and there are moments where it's really touching and it's fun and the action is great. The CG is amazing. They actually did some animatronic, big animatronic robots.
Awesome.
So that you buy that those things exist. You know, there's no question in your mind.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's not the best movie you've seen. It's not in my top 10 movies of the year. It's not. You know,
Bummer.
it's really good. It's a solid, good movie. But you know, it's not.
Gotcha.
Doesn't transcend, in my opinion.
As I mentioned before, it is a father-son story. So
You know how I am.
If Jeff or Dan doesn't cry, it's not a great movie.
And I did
Right.
cry a little.
So-
I cried.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
All right.
because Dan, because you're not reviewing this.
Yeah.
I am actually going to do 2 reviews of this movie. One as me, and one as 10-year-old me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
10-year-old me?
Oh, so,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
This is the greatest movie that I've ever seen! If I was 10, this would be my favorite movie. I would watch it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of it. It's got everything I would want as a 10-year-old kid. It's got robots. The robot designs are awesome.
Yeah.
It's got, you know, like the cool like Tokyo robot that glows. It's got a little kid who, because he believes in himself, like becomes friends with a robot and makes robots awesome and fights and wins and amazing and yes, and his dad loves him again and I want to see it. Please, can we go again, Dad? Please, can we go again?
Yeah.
Adult Jeff goes,
Samesies.
he goes, what the hell's wrong with that kid? Get him away from me. Adult Jeff goes, I really liked this. I really liked it. But there's so many flaws that I see with it that little 10-year-old Jeff would just completely overlook and not care about. But there's, like, what's special about our robot? He's very special.
I thought he's like a junkyard bot, right? Everyone
Junkyard
overlooked
bot,
him.
sort of.
And there's weird, like, implications that he's something more, but we never get any kind of clear indication of what that is. And there is a really wasted opportunity of showing what the importance of the driver of the robot is.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time robots are being controlled with like giant radio RC car.
Or just your voice.
Or your
saying,
voice,
punch,
which is
duck,
so
move.
it's such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
By the end, we have a really cool moment where they controlled in a different way, but it
Which
could.
you've seen in all the trailers.
Yeah, I know.
You've seen in all the trailers.
Robot
And the
jocks.
trailer is
Yeah.
watch
But
the
you
movie.
could have had that be a major plot point of like the driver of the thing is really important, which makes Hugh Jackman's involvement really important, because literally it doesn't make any sense to me as adult Jeff. Again, 10-year-old Jeff doesn't care about any of this. But adult Jeff goes, if there's a champion robot, why doesn't someone just make that exact robot? They make no bearing on the fact that a controller has a big part in this, and you have to have a good controller in order to win. There's no reference to that.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because I kept thinking, like, why is our guy special? You know, they keep saying, you know, he's a scrapper and he can take a lot of punishment and all that stuff. And we're given indications that he's got like magic, like there's an E.T. element to this where he's magic in some way.
Yeah.
But it's really vague and it's really nebulous.
And
we're
doesn't
not,
play out at all.
It doesn't play
happens
out at
like
all.
5 minutes. There's like.
Well, you know what, Jeff? In life, it doesn't matter how hard you hit. It matters how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, Rocky. I appreciate that. But I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah.
I agree with Alex that the best thing about this is the integration of the robots into the real world.
That does sound brilliant.
The only thing I like about the Transformers movies is how much the robots feel like they're really there all the time, and that's how it is in this movie. Nothing is shot to highlight the special effect. It feels like a lived-in real world where these things really exist.
Yeah.
Even though the rules to that world just don't make any sense to adult me. But the other great thing about this movie, the other thing that it totally rests on, is Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
That dude commits 150% to the reality of this moment. He is in it. He gives a shit, you know? He cares and he's throwing all his weight behind every single moment. And that goes a long way in a movie where a kid dances a lot and there's a lot of cheesy stuff that happens.
ready.
There's a lot of dancing and there's a lot of
There's
cheesy
some,
stuff.
Yeah. There's some really fun moments though, like the first punch in the championship thing,
All right.
where we all just were like, "Wow, this is the most amazing thing!" I mean, there were moments that are super fun.
But it just doesn't hold together from an adult's perspective where you go like, well, there's plot points. But honestly, if you can step back from that, it is a very enjoyable movie. I really thought I was going to hate it.
And it definitely does go a notch above. It's a movie about robot boxing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go so much over that where you go, it doesn't matter that it's a movie about robot boxing.
Well, it sounds like I'm probably gonna love it. So.
You may very well love it, yeah.
I mean, it could have been over the top.
Yeah.
And it could have been over the
movie.
top.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
It's just really steel.
it's real steel. Yeah, it's much better than it had any right to
So
be.
is Shaq in this movie? I'm confused.
Real steel.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around for This Day in Rad History. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, Jeff Cannata.
Vampires.
They suck.
They do. They suck your blood.
Yeah.
And guess what? They probably pay full price for their clothes.
They probably do.
Because suckers pay full price. I hear the vampires are trending with the kids, so I wanted to work it in.
That's good. There's a lot of Twilight stuff happening.
The Jack Threads people, they want to reinforce suckers pay full price. And I want to say that because we're always talking about sucker MCs, aren't we? Aren't we always talking about sucker MCs? Don't be a sucker.
Sucker MCs,
If
vampires.
you like alternate apparel, and you like stuff like Kid Robot, Hurley, Stussy, I love anything that has an umlaut. You know that. Motley Crue, Stussy. You don't want to waste all your cash on them. You can score all these awesome premium brands, and you can get them up to 80% off and look like the hottest vampire on your block by joining this invite-only club called JackThreads.com. It is invite-only. That means any old schlub off the street, not just a zombie or a werewolf, can join. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well,
you can join because if you watch our show, you can go to jackthreads.com, and we know you do because you're hearing my voice right now.
I'm hearing it.
Jackthreads.com/TRS. You'll get instant access. You'll go hop to the front of the line. You turn into a bat, flutter to the front of the line. More vampire references. That scores with the kids. We're going for the female demographic. You get instant hookups. You get 80% off. I told you all the cool brands. You gotta go now. jackthreads.com/TRS. Do it!
Amazing. Don't be a sucker MC.
Glitter your way to fun.
Yes. And you can do it at night, so you don't have to get in the sun.
That's good. That's a really important point for the vampires.
Don't miss tomorrow to find out what else is on our radar this week.
Today is October 6th, and on this day in rad history, back in 2007, Jason Lewis becomes the first human being to circumnavigate the globe under human power.
And I think that I speak for all of us when I say that we are against powering machines with human beings. It's disgusting, and it's offensive, and
he's been on a big anti-bike
only be little
campaign.
magical elves.
Well, I mean, grinding up human beings and feeding them into an engine is horrifying.
See, that's the joke.
That's where I was trying to go, but
Oh yes, that now that you've said it straight, I understand it.
Well,
proud of
crazy
myself.
Jason Lewis. Crazy J. Lou.
no, he went entirely around the entire globe just
Based on his stuff.
walking. Didn't Forrest Gump do that already?
Well, human powered, I think, was like bike pedaling, maybe like
I thought he ground up humans and put them in the
boat
engine.
biking.
'Cause you can burn a human for fuel. I've done it.
Wanna go camping?
Thank you, Alex Albrecht, for sending that in.